Hello, everybody. Welcome to our show, Love is Everywhere, where we spread the love to all parts of the universe. And today is a wonderful day. We have a very special guest here, Guy Dawson. Guy Dawson is the managing director of Classic Communications, which is a public relations company. If you want to take your business to the next level, talk to the man, Guy Dawson. Guy, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me
Thank you
as a
very
part
much.
of Love is Everywhere, Liz.
Yes, of course. You are the epitome of love with all your service to the community, and everything that you do is all about love. So, who else to be here but you also, like everybody else?
Yeah, I think love is it is what makes the world go around.
Yes, absolutely. And you are very dedicated in all the things that you do. And where that dedication comes from, but your love, right?
Yeah, I think you really do have to love your life.
Love yourself.
Yeah, I think the more that you love your life, the more that you have to love other people. So you love just being on the planet, right? Look how lucky we are
Yes.
that we got to wake up today, and we have our faculties, we can talk, we can see. So what's not to love, right, about
That's
life?
right. So today we are going to talk about your love for yourself that you spread to others. Then we'll talk about your love for community, and of course your love for this business with heart that we are engaged in. I think everybody wants to know about this business with heart. So we're going to talk a lot about that. So
all right.
we're going to have 4 sections. So first, your love for yourself, and of course, love for yourself that you share, love for community, and love for business with heart, and the love for everybody else.
Well, wow, that's a
Yes.
whole lot of love going on today. Huh?
That's right. Because this is all about love is everywhere. So I really believe that in order for you to be successful in whatever that you do, love is key. Love is the foundation, and love is the highest vibration. So in order for you to be in alignment, I think you got to have love. Did you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. And you were saying that we're talking about 4 elements of love.
Mm-hmm.
So where you had mentioned before the love of self,
Yes.
what I've found is that the love of self is actually for most of the people probably on the planet is the most difficult aspect. It's a lot easier for people sometimes to love other people than it
Yes.
is for them to actually love themselves.
Absolutely, because that was a challenge for me, because I thought I learned from early on from my mother that she is all about the other person. So she would dedicate herself to the other person. So I thought, so giving your time and your service to others is the way to go. But then I learned later on that if you don't have love for yourself, how can you expect somebody to love you? And how can you expect to give something that you do not have? So we must have to have love in our hearts in order for us to be able to share with everyone.
Yeah. I think a lot of the thing about having love is it's really acceptance of yourself.
Yes.
And I don't know if we're necessarily taught. Well, I'm sure some people are raised like that, where they're raised to have a true acceptance of themselves for who they are. I think that a lot of times in our world we are not taught to really accept ourselves, and that
Yes.
from a young age that's not something that is really taught, because kid goes to school, they're kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, they're already being measured by this criteria of grades.
Yes.
So you're even you're a kindergartner, you're already being kind of compartmentalized in a way.
That's
in
right,
that
yeah.
you're either a smart kid or you're not, somewhere in between.
Yes.
And so, okay, if you're super, super smart, you would think, well, maybe they would have love for themselves, or everybody tells you that you're better, you're a smart kid, you're a beautiful little girl. There's always so many distinctions that are made about people
Yes.
throughout our lives. And so if you're not that, or if you're not getting that type of reinforcement from the outside world, and if you aren't raised by people who know how to give you that, and a lot of times it's not that people don't want to give it to you, it's just it was never given to them.
That's
so
right.
they don't know how to give it to
Either
you. So
you-
you go through life always feeling like you're less than, and being not really accepting of the gift that you are and how wonderful you are as a person, no matter how much so-called intelligence you have, or beauty you have,
Yes.
or that it doesn't matter. We're all human beings. We're all the same. We all have gifts.
That's right. And yes, and early for growing up, for me personally, when I was growing up, people would say, "Oh, she's very smart. She's very nice girl." But my mother would say, "Oh no, she's fine. She's." And so we learn as we grow up. Oh, we're not really that. We're not up there. We're right here because that's how our parents have treated us. So as you go along, as you grow up, then you think, oh, I'm not really all that. So most people think they're not worth it because that's how they are raised. So that's why early on in our adult life, we have to learn all these things. And through experience, I would say, I have learned to accept myself and love myself. And now lately, this is what I've learned, right? And just lately in my adult life. And so so they say that the way you treat yourself is how others treat you. And so while growing up, I treat myself like, I'm not the best. I'm not worth it. So that's how I grew up. And later on, as you grow up and learn, then you accept yourself and you love yourself more, and then that's where it starts. So again, it's how we are raised. Sometimes people, the way they are raised, that's how they are with other people. Like again, I can only talk about myself because that's my experience. But what I see, so when I have a daughter myself, I did my best to give her the attention that she needed and give her reinforcement. But of course, sometimes I was busy. I was a single mom while she was growing up, so I was busy trying to earn money to put a roof over her head and put food at the table. So I wasn't really paying attention of how I was treating her, how she was treated as emotionally, I would say. I don't know how you were raised. I'm sure you were raised in a very loving environment, so that may be different. So would you share with us how that was?
Well, I was raised in a pretty loving environment, and still there's a lot of things. You're right, though. Your parents and the environment that you were raised in definitely has a lot of influence on the person that you become. But there are a lot of influences out in the world. You're not in your family environment 24 hours a day. So there's a lot of stuff going on as you're a kid and you're growing up, and there's the movies, there's television, there's all these other people who are a part of our lives who do have an influence on how much self-confidence we have, how much belief we have in ourselves. And luckily for me is that I found out, like you said, as an adult, that it doesn't matter really what the conditioning was like. That I had a choice on whether I was going to learn how to love myself or not. So there were certain things that I started to do into my life that helped me embrace self-love.
Yes.
But it's definitely something that you can cure. Your lack of that is something that you can cure yourself. And actually the only cure is yourself. And there's no pill that you take that all of a sudden gives you this this sense of self-love, or there's no relationship that you get involved in my opinion, that gives you a sense of love for yourself.
Yes.
A romantic relationship or family type relationship, although it is important that you get positive reinforcement for people, but ultimately it's really an inside job, and it's you arriving at a point where you've just decided that you're worth it and that you are that you love yourself.
Yes, and again, that adage now that you have everything that you need here. And there's the song that says, the greatest love of all is love from here. Love for self. Because again, if you love yourself, then you're going to know how to love others. And then the commandments, I go back to the commandments. Because now there used to be 10 commandments. And then when Jesus came to earth, there are 2 commandments. It's all about love. Love God above all everybody else, and love your neighbor as you love yourself. So it's all about love. So now it's about love your neighbor as you love yourself. So we must love ourselves. Even God teach us to love ourselves, because again, we cannot give love, we cannot give anything that we do not have. So if we have love for self, we have more love to give others.
You know, if you start treating yourself well, then when you interact with other people and you have a tendency, of course, you're going to treat them better, and you don't have that resentment. So like you were saying, you were talking about your mother and how your mother was very giving and wanted to take care of everyone else.
Yes.
So what I find with a lot of people is when they come from that perspective is they build up a lot of resentment inside of them, because there's something that's not right about only looking out. I don't think that God meant it to be that way, that you would only look out for other people. So people develop a sense of resentment for the sacrifice that they're making, that they did themselves. It's no one's responsibility but ours.
That's right.
What we do to bring pain into our lives. But what happens is a person like that built up a big
you are right.
point of resentment within them for being someone who there's nothing positive about sacrifice. And then they end up not being able to, really resenting other people, the fact that they're having to love others. So is that really love?
Because that is true. Because you know what? As I was growing up, I started thinking, why would she spend all the time with other people? What about me here? She's not spending time with me. She's not taking care of my needs. Why is she spending all her time taking of other people but me? Yeah, there was. You're right. Yeah, but then so everyone, our time for the first segment is almost over. So love for self is very important in order to develop yourself as a whole person, as a whole loving person, I would say. And you can only share what you have. So, and the next, thank you, Guy, for all this perspective. Thank you. And on the next segment, we are going to talk about love for community and service to others as a way of spreading the love. Thank you, everyone. Please stay tuned. We are going to be back. Ciao.